vaxherd, and we're going to be running Dragon Warrior 3 right here. So let me get, I guess I'll need the name right about now. If you got that for me?
Yeah. Let me do one last refresh.
Okay. I seem to recall Jeff was in a bit of a lead.
Yeah, that's what it looked like before I refreshed. I just want to give one last chance for people to get those donations in.
All right.
Yep, the name is going to be Jeff in all caps.
Jeff it will be.
Jeff.
Jeff.
Always Jeff.
All right, so are we ready over there? All right, so in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So here we go. I guess a quick round of introductions. I am vaxherd.
I'm High Spirits.
Poexel. Tonic.
Okay. Shout outs to the message window that won't let you close it for 3 seconds. And we are off. So just to get started here, we're going to head up to the king and get our mission. Because as in all Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest games, we start out as a young hero in training. And off we go. So for about the first 3 minutes of this game, we'll be playing it normally, and then things will get a bit strange.
Yeah, if you saw Tadic's run of the Super Famicom version of the game at last year's RPG Limit Break, this run is going to be about as different as it could possibly be,
Yeah.
while still in any way vaguely resembling Dragon Warrior / Quest 3.
It's fair to say. A minor point, the Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest are in fact the same series. When it first came out on the NES, there was a trademark issue. They had to rename it Dragon Warrior, and now they're all called Dragon Quest again.
Yeah, it wasn't until Dragon Quest 8 that they actually had the ability to actually use Dragon Quest in the West.
Yeah, just got our mission from the king. Our mission is to kill the great evil Baramos. And since the world is in such danger, the king has given us all of 50 gold to prepare ourselves. You will see how far 50 gold gets you in this very menu, where we're going to get 2 wings of the wyvern and run out of money.
But how will you get equipment to survive such a vile beast?
We'll figure that out. So, kind of difficult to go it alone, so let's go ahead and pick up some party members. So, when I'm running this normally, I have a name that gives me good stats for the party members, but you all donated for Jeff, and so you are going to have Jeff.
Great.
So I do need to get certain specific stats for these characters, so I may have to re-roll them a few times. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, the main stat he's after here is agility too, because that's going to affect how he manipulates turn order for a number of fights during the run.
So I need a 5 agility on the first pilgrim. That was only 4, so I'll have to try that again.
Because in addition to a lot of glitches, this run's also going to involve a lot of what we call RNG manipulation, or just manipulating the random elements in the game to follow kind of a predictable pattern.
You guys asked for Jeff, you're going to get Jeff.
Jeff, and Jeff.
Okay, so that agility was not good. We're going to have to try again.
Yeah, normally he has specific names, one character names that he uses, but he also he has a program that he created that allows him to come up with the characters' names in case he ever wants to change it. And Jeff apparently also was not a very good name to use to come up with party members with the proper staff.
You asked for Jeff, you're going to get Jeff.
Discount,
all right.
Discount version, Jeff.
Discount, yeah.
Okay, that should do us. So we're going to go ahead and pick up a few of those people. The game does give you a few built-in characters to start out. We'll see those in a moment.
Who do we get?
Let's see what we get. Adon.
Adon, Elucidus, and Sartris.
Yes, and Sartris we will not actually see any of at all. But the other 2 will have a bit of a part to play. So.
And of course, Jeff, and Jeff.
Yeah, so next we'll take Jeff and Jeff with us.
But what about Jeff?
Well, Jeff can wait for a little while. All right. And now let's head out on our
Beautiful
adventure.
looking party.
Yeah.
Looks great.
And then the one NPC that just likes
always
to get
gets in your way.
Yep.
Okay, so
better watch out for random encounters.
yep. Well, of course, you know, in Dragon Quest games, you have to grind, and so we're going to grind a little bit, or something like that. If there are any monsters around. There we go.
They're too scared of Jeff.
Yeah,
They know what's coming.
the Jeff Force is on the loose.
Okay, so,
No, not Jeff.
yes. I'm afraid Jeff's part to play is going to be a bit unusual.
Jeff in all caps is like, there can only be one.
Whoops.
So who in that party is out of place?
Jeff.
So this route you're about to see today was pretty much created by Vex over the course of a long time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there is actually a minor issue. Those black ravens hit me pretty hard, so I'm going to need to heal up that soldier. So do that. Well, first I do need to leave those two ghosts trailing behind us. So I'm going to go ahead
Wow.
and do that.
Yeah, the whole point of that fight, if it wasn't obvious, was to kill off 2 of his party members.
That's
Is
so
he-
cruel.
Because he can leave them at Luisa's eatery and they will still be dead.
Okay, so I said a moment that we were not going to make use of that Sartre's character. I don't know what he's doing there. But actually, we are going to make use of him now because he has some money for us.
Ooh.
Jeff is calling you. A common theme throughout this run will be that he's setting up a lot of what's going to be happening over the next, however long the run takes. But
Yeah.
there's a hidden reason probably for everything. We're going to try to cover everything, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening on the back end
Yeah,
with
there's
the
a-
RNG and setting things up appropriately.
Yeah, this
you'll
is a
see.
very technical run.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
very hard to describe without getting, like, technical
Yeah.
and talk, a lot of programming.
Yeah, vaxherd here is, he knows more about Dragon Warrior 3 probably than any of us combined.
Yeah, he's a genius at this game.
Yeah.
So,
I
mean, he-
played around with it a bit, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of this came from making what's called a tool-assisted speedrun of this game and rule set too, which is where, if anyone doesn't know what a TAS is, it's where you kind of program a speedrun frame by frame, basically, and then play it back instead of performing it in real time like vaxherd is right now.
And then he found a way to pretty much do it in real time.
Yeah. And oops, I messed up. I got to start over, or something like that. So actually, I'm going to be doing a bit of setup now for the RNG. Talking about setup a moment ago, but gonna need to call the doctor for this one.
Doctor. See you
Something
later, Doctor.
Yep.
Something interesting about this game is how it loads the RNG, the randomness. It does it by whatever save one of the other save files based on the order that it is in memory. The save files are basically listed 1, 2, 3 in order, and whatever one you load up gets put into the first slot. So in this case, he loads up the file, or he's going to use the another file and name and gender and message speed to affect what the actual randomness is, and he's going to be able to use that to manipulate the game. So you're going to see him creating and deleting other save files. Well, mostly the third save file. The second one is a very special one.
Yep. And just to be clear, the first game, we are going to get back to the game that I started a moment ago with Jeff. This is solely for the purpose of manipulating the RNG.
Yeah, because there's several elements of the randomness that are stored in your save files on the cartridge. So yeah, he's gonna, like you said, he's gonna beat the game using the file he made about 8 minutes ago, but he's gonna be using all 3 slots on the card for various types of manipulation.
Jeff will be our hero.
Yes.
Jeff will.
He will
slay
be the
evil Baramos.
Jeff will return in Dragon Warrior 3.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I've seen just about every variation of Dragon Warrior 3 with Jeff inserted in there.
Jeff is a thing.
Jeff will defeat the evil Baramos. It will come.
That's what you think.
So yeah, there's 2 main types of RNG that determine the battle, especially, and one of them is what he's setting up right now. I guess it's been termed the discard pile, which is one of 16 numbers. And using this encounter here, along with some notes that he came up with, depending on whatever action takes place, like starting off with DR attacking for 10, and then E attacking, and then D attacking, he's going to be able to manipulate that discard pile to a specific number, in this case 0. and from there he is going to be able to determine and manipulate a fight because each discard number has a specific pattern. And so he's going to know how to do what's going to happen in combat now based entirely off of knowing where the discard is. And the discard changes by doing an action in combat. In this case, you'll notice how at the end there he just fought and reset. The moment he input that fight, he set the discard to what he wanted it to. He doesn't need to go through the rest of the encounter because it's set at the beginning of the round.
And it gets preserved through him resetting the game.
Yep, and the strange thing about it, though, is it actually gets stored in the system memory. So even if he turns off the console and turns it on, it's still going to be at that value.
And that ring is just to get out of the castle faster, too.
Okay, need an audio key here for just a sec. Thank you.
So you to skip an encounter.
Yeah, the next about 10 minutes or so of the run are pretty intense as far as the manipulation. So vaxherd's mostly going to concentrate on the run, and we'll do our best to commentate. So just because the movement and menuing and everything he's doing, basically, for the next leg of the run, like almost every input needs to fall within a 16-frame window. And
no mistakes.
Yeah, the reason why on the overworld is kind of neat, too, because much later on in the game, you need to go to a ghost ship in order to get one of the orbs for Ramia. Even though he's nowhere near getting there, the ghost ship is partially loaded on the overworld and is influencing the RNG, even if he's not actually doing anything. And then like in towns that have randomly moving NPCs, that also influences it and creates a timing element for his manipulation.
And something interesting about the ghost ship is it is loaded in the world, and as long as you haven't actually done the part of the story to unlock it and put it next to Romilly, he found out that it's actually loaded in the map at whatever coordinate you're at, minus 128. So it's always on the exact opposite world of you, so you can never get near it.
Notice also there are supposed to be monsters in this tower too, by the way.
I don't believe those rumors.
Yeah,
No, there's
They're
no
all
monsters
lies.
there.
But I mean, the game's in kind of a semi-broken state right now, where what's supposed to be random is following just a fixed counter instead of anything like that. So he has like 240 I believe steps with no encounters. And that step right where he cast the heal spell would have been an encounter, and then because of the state the game's in, if he'd have actually gotten an encounter there, that would have soft-locked the game, because it would have tried to, as he explained it to me, tried to load an infinite number of monsters into the fight. So casting a heal spell or using a medical herb or various other types of actions will advance the RNG. So he cast heal there in order to bypass the steps that would have had encounters and able to keep going. But even though he's in a town and there are no encounters, as I mentioned a bit ago, the randomly moving NPCs are still advancing the RNG too. So, I mean, while he's in this shop menu, that's pausing the NPCs, so he does have some more flexibility here. But as soon as he closes out of the menu, it's back to really sensitive movement.
And there is also the chance that vaxherd may have to reset and try this again. This is actually quite intense, so he's going to do his best to navigate through it, but it may happen. But he's doing well so far, so.
Yep, the town is the scary part because you know he can't hit anything, he can't bonk, he can't fail to any steps, anything like that.
That includes like getting into the menu to open that door too.
Yep. Now the reason why he can do the whole encounter thing is the second save file that he's already created, called, in this case, E?, but it's called a seed lock, where he basically locked the RNG, as Plexel noticed or said earlier, where he's in a point in the where an encounter will load, where he has a huge margin of steps before he gets into an encounter. And that's all thanks to the second save file that he created.
So yeah, we're going to progress the game. We're going to get to around the Kazav area is our next major destination. So we're just going to progress through this next cave, and he's got a fairly tight timing window coming up in a little bit, but otherwise he's just going to sort of...
And actually this room right here and the next one, he can do whatever he wants.
It's kind of like a breather in this part of the run.
Yeah, because there's no encounters, no NPC. Well, there's that NPC, but he stands still, so he doesn't count.
Yep. So since there's no
doesn't
movement or anything, yeah, he don't count. Poor guy gets stuck in this cave all by himself,
Yeah.
and now it's like, oh, now you care even less. You count even less. But yeah, since there's no NPC movement and no monsters, there's nothing to roll the randomness. So it just nothing happens until he gets to this room here,
Yeah,
and now
there's
it's back to serious.
And there's a fairly difficult encounter skip coming up that he has to do in a pretty long, featureless hallway.
Yeah, so if I get just a bit of serious time
Yeah.
here.
Yep. Let's see. Good.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
good.
So yeah, there's possible encounter there. Now here's another thing you're going to see coming up here is you're going to see him dance a little bit. Whenever you go through a screen transition in this game, just like Dragon Warrior 4, you have a 33% chance of getting into an encounter. So he burned some steps there to push him along the encounter table to the point where he would not get into an encounter in that transition, because if he would have, that would have hit the point where Pexel talks about earlier, where it would have hit the infinite loop, and it wouldn't have been able to load an encounter. It would have soft locked the game. The game would have just stopped right there.
Looking good, though.
Yep.
Yeah, made it through the cave just fine.
Yeah, got another breather, a couple short screens here, and then back serious. So,
Our destination. Never mind.
Wait,
never mind.
what's that castle?
Hi, Romilly. Bye, Romilly.
So he's going to do an encounter skip here by healing, and then he's going to need to hear an audio cue. So everything he did there was to skip encounter.
Mhm.
Cool.
Ooh, most close, almost there.
Mhm.
One more scary walk to go.
So we come to this town for the poison needle, which you can get at nighttime.
Yeah, and I believe that there's
Yep.
no randomly moving NPCs in this town at night.
It's not quite that good because I have to stay on a multiple of 4 steps.
Okay, but it's a lot more. He can make a little bit of mistake because no NPCs aren't really moving
Yeah,
around.
I can recover from a mistake, let's put it that way.
Yep, they're sleeping.
They won't notice.
Someone's actually sleep. Oh, you just broke into the guy's shop. I hope he
Yeah.
doesn't notice.
All right.
And then he just paused there for 2 steps to pretty much set up roughly where this next encounter is going to be. Because of the way the game works, and there's actually random lag frames, I guess you could call them, that can appear. There's actually one of 4 steps that this encounter that he's actually going to force can appear on. And he's basically just set it up with those skips there so it appears right here outside of Knave.
Very nice.
And oh no, dangerous encounter!
Perfect. So this is what he wanted specifically.
Yep, as Aiden just got
Yep.
paralyzed.
And that's pretty much the whole point of this encounter, or one of the main purposes of it, is to get one of his party members paralyzed. 'Cause that's an important setup for one of the glitches he's going to be doing.
Oh no, 2 more people died. And you just winged out of combat. How could you?
They're dead. What do you expect me to do?
Yeah, so now he has 2 dead party members, and
He had to watch out for NPC movement there.
yeah.
Yeah, something fascinating is you see how he's numb. Even in town, you have a 1 in 16 chance of recovering from numb. So what he did when he entered the town is he looked to see where that first NPC was going, and then he paused after he realized it, so he would skip the frame that would have cured numb, because he has to stay numb to pull off the next part of this glitch coming up.
And by the way, I'm just going to make a safety save here because the next segment, things usually don't go wrong, but you never know. So
Yeah, there is a 1 in 256 chance that RNG decides to say nope.
yeah, this is RNG actually can make a difference, and so you know marathon luck will happen.
And this is where we start to really break the game here.
But he left his dead and numb character at Luisa's, so that removes any kind of need to manipulate the RNG
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that tightly
Yeah.
anymore.
Don't want him curing on you.
Yeah, this is something I don't have to worry about the RNG here. I do have to worry about timing in a moment, so that will happen. So we need to pull him back.
Okay, so in this game, there's a fun little thing where the game doesn't want you to have 4 dead party members in your party. Because if you have 4 dead party members, well, it's time to die, go to the church, and resurrect. And what it does is, if you have 3 party members that are ghosts and you try to remove the 4th person, the game sends back an error message saying, nope, you can't do that. But there's a small thing in the programming where if you have a numb character and you try to remove them from your party and just leave all ghosts, well, they never made an error message for that. So it tries to find an error, and it doesn't find any, so it says, okay, have fun, get out of the party. And now you suddenly got 4 ghosts in a party that should not have 4 ghosts.
4 Jeff ghosts,
A lot of
too.
It's a lot of Jeff. There's a lot of people who are probably glad that that's Jeff, and Jeff right now. So this is where he's going to start to rewrite the game, basically. The game when he goes outside, the game's going to think that he's walking on swamp tiles, and it's going to actually confuse the game so much that it's going to rewrite the memory, certain parts of memory, I should say. Basically, anyone in the 2nd and 4th slot, and I'll be quiet here.
Thanks.
So the first thing, he's still going.
2 cycles here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Everything he's doing right here is based on audio cues with the music.
Yeah.
And he's got a Black Raven
He's got
equipped
a Black
now.
Raven and a Rainbow Drop.
And a
yep.
Rainbow Drop.
And about the audio cue, it's specifically what's happening in the audio part of the track that he's using as the trigger to overwrite items, which is really fascinating. I've never seen that in a game before. He's waiting for specific audio cues when he goes outside, and let's let him go again. Timing, he's rewriting these top of some character's inventory, so you're not supposed to have the Shield of Heroes right now.
No.
Or a Black Raven.
So we'll go more in detail with it because we'll definitely have an 8-minute break to,
Yes.
to talk about everything.
Oh,
coming
hey,
up
it's the
shortly.
Sphere of Light.
Yeah.
Yep.
Baramos?
An item we need to fight the final boss.
Oh, you got the.
Purple orb should not be there, but
Yeah.
that is where RNG can annoy us. So
Yeah.
just sort of move that out of the way. So
Does that
let's
mean you
see.
glitched past what you wanted on that first one?
Yeah, you can randomly get bad glitches on that one, so we'll figure out something to do with it.
Yeah.
So first of all,
Jeff first.
yep, so I'm putting Jeff first, and it's time we have to dance a bit.
So him dancing is actually glitching the music, or glitching the magic spells, because he has to kill time until it gets to that part of the music cues in order to glitch the magic. So he just walks back and forth on no step tiles and counter tiles in order just to keep from the menu opening. And you'll notice he has spells.
Spells, but endgame spells.
Yeah, end game
to,
spells.
at level 1.
So yeah, as he's like going over it briefly, every time he takes a step outside, the game thinking he's on swamp tiles, what it does is it first goes to see who's alive in your party, and then it's like, oh, okay, you say you have 2 people alive. Well, these 2 are going to take damage. Well, if everyone's dead, it basically skips over that and goes to the next thing in memory. And basically, what it influences is the music. and the music notes is what causes the changes. Is because he's using the music to rewrite the items.
I just love
list.
that too, that he's not just using the music as a cue, he's actually using the music to
Yeah.
reprogram the game with itself, basically.
Yeah, programming with music.
Yep.
Okay, more here.
Actually, I just realized that I need to move things around. So that there will be a few more cycles of this, but we are closing in on the end. Fear
Cool.
not.
So he's actually.
And this, all of this that he's doing is a lot looser than that 10-minute segment with the
Yeah.
16-frame manip too. I mean, if he makes mistakes with this manip, he has a lot of means to recover it.
Yeah, he's got his own table of. I'm sorry, 1 second. Generally, he can advance an item along a set number of patterns, so he can get what he wants eventually.
Yeah.
And I've got a Sword of Kings, just like
Yeah,
the
you know.
strongest sword in the game for the hero.
No
No
big
big deal.
And water flying cloths.
Best translation ever.
Yes.
I don't know. I like clothes hiding better from the second game.
They're both good.
Hey, no, you are deads yet.
Yep, it's a good sign. Black Ravens.
He's got
Black Ravens. Well, he has two because one he's going to change into something else.
If all goes well, it should be just one more cycle here.
See if I jinxed it.
As Jeff turned to Hef.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, terribly sorry about that.
So yeah, you'll notice Jeff turned to half. That's an RNG thing that he had no control over.
Yep, that is very random. I try to avoid them, but I'm
It's
afraid
also very fitting for a run like
Yeah.
this. Too.
It's a little different.
he will be Jeff.
Yeah.
He will be Jeff in spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're glitching a game like this.
No,
Oh, trying
No.
to sell the Staff of Change.
Staff of Change. Wonder where I have that. Oh well.
It's a
actually,
key item, obviously. So yeah, there's a couple bits of randomness with this with when he's doing this. In one, it can accidentally
58,500.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Black Raven sells for 58,000. But it could change or glitch the first item in the first person slot, which in this case is Hef. Because normally what he's doing is only trying to glitch the second or fourth person's slot. But sometimes you get it glitches the first person in the first slot, and sometimes it glitches stats. And then there's that 1 in 256 chance that it really glitches a stat to the point where the game can no longer thinks that you're a character, and you can no longer resurrect them, and they stay a ghost the rest of the game. And that's where the backup save file would come in on that 1 in 256 chance. So there's still one more scary thing, and that's did he glitch the right return spells into his spell list?
Yeah, because that's something he needs to revive his characters to check, and he needs to have the dead corruption glitch in the first place.
Yep.
I actually forgot one, so there will be a couple more cycles. This is why we check just in case.
Yeah. So that Black Raven that you saw, this game only has 125 items. Oop, I'll let you go.
Okay, these should be shorter cycles. I only need to go to the first glitch set.
Okay, so there's 125 items in the game, and there's 128 slots. You know, because there's 128. You know, and so there's a couple of basically blank items, dummy items. And when you get to those end items, the game actually starts to look to another table. And in this case, it's the monster. The black raven he had was a blank empty space followed by a black raven followed by a little sword symbol. It's because it basically pulled from an item. There's actually another one in this game called Slime Stick, and because it takes the stick, the cypress stick, and merges it with a slime, kind of like the Upco from Final Fantasy IV.
Yep.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Yep. But that thing will hard lock the game if you use the slime stick.
Yeah, it makes your game sticky, so you don't want it.
Exactly. Did you have it?
Hang on, I might not.
Okay. Uh-oh.
If I don't, it's easy to fix, but...
Yep.
Oh.
Jeff is dead. Can't use it.
Okay, you have to revive him first, yes.
Yeah. So the Black Raven just happens to go point to an item or part of the memory, which is where the
hardware
value.
register.
Yeah, the hardware
which is
register.
Not supposed to be accessed.
That's
so.
why it sells for 58,000.
yeah.
The slime stick actually points to a part of the memory.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, the slime stick goes to the hardware registry, and when it tries to do that, it hard locks the game. So we're checking to see if this has a certain town on it. Ribladar, perfect.
Nice.
And then the Black Raven points to a value on the table that is beyond anything, so it sells for an obscene amount of money. So he also glitched spells into his return towns into his return list that are in the Dark World at the end of the game. You know, Baramos and all that stuff.
Who?
Remember that? Yeah.
Who's that?
You know,
yeah,
the
was there
place-
that
Is that a
Baramos
different
guy?
Dragon Quest?
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about him.
the people after Baramos.
Okay, wait.
And then he buys some herbs because he's going to obviously need to do some healing on the final fight.
Yeah. I mean, being level 1 and all.
I know.
Okay. I am not supposed to have 2 Swords of Kings, by the way. I did not actually need to do that last glitch cycle. I forgot that I had already glitched the Sword of Kings, so that was a
Unfortunately,
little bit of
only the-
wasted time. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for that.
You're just showing off. You can make
just
one
showing
Sword
off.
of Kings, 2 Sword of Kings, whatever.
Going to have the hero dual
Yeah.
wield them, you know?
We just want to make the we just want to make the Earthbound runners jealous that we can get Sword of Kings
Yeah,
so
that's
easily.
Twice.
I could make a third if you like.
You can make as many
one
as
for
you
each
want.
relay team.
So yeah, he's got level 1 characters now, and that's kind of a bad thing. So
Oops. Actually made a minor mistake here,
Oops.
so I need to reset around that.
So yeah, he needs a way to get experience or abilities, and well, he could probably glitch his stats. It would be very dangerous. It could like corrupt corrupt his stats in the wrong way. So we're gonna do it the good old-fashioned way.
By grinding.
By grinding.
Everybody came here to see, right? With
Yep. Dragon Quest,
with
grinding,
Dragon Warrior
obviously.
3.
Yep.
Yep. Just
Yep.
as he said, yep. So he created a third file name, YPP female, I believe it was,
Yep.
message speed 3.
That's right.
And, you know, as I said earlier, the RNG is based off another file. So he's going to use that to force an encounter.
Okay, now there is about a 50% chance that I get the wrong encounter, and we will find out in a moment. Oops, I need to give him his club back. Here you are, my friend Jeff.
Yeah, because, you know, in order to kill stuff, you need a club.
And a poison needle.
And a poison needle. Poison needle's fun because it has a, 1 in 8 chance
Yep.
of instantly killing an enemy if it hits them. Pretty much anything that's not a boss.
Okay, so
Oh,
that
that
is
was
the
early.
wrong. Yep, that's
Yep.
the wrong one. So, yep, I need to manipulate things just a bit.
So the reason why that happened is because earlier we talked about the order that the files are loaded in memory. Well, they're kind of jumbled right now, so he has to load the game files and put them right in the correct order. So when he loads up the file 3 RNG, it's in the top spot.
Yeah, the game, it looks like it's just 1, 2, 3 clear cut, but it's actually not. It's shifted around from the last time you loaded one in the background of the memory.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's something that's just totally irrelevant, except in a case like this
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
glitching the game.
So he should have everything in order now.
So I'm giving the reset button some exercise.
So he's going to have an encounter, but he's also going to know what's going to happen in the encounter because of the discard pile from earlier.
Keep in mind, he's level 1.
Yeah,
so,
he's level
like,
1.
And Remolder is the end game.
Yeah, it's literally the last town before you go to the end of the game.
So I think in this version of the game, you're expected to be like
20s or low 30s,
in order
somewhere
just
around
to beat
there.
Baramos, much less get to Rimoldar.
Barra who?
Wait, who's that guy?
The villain of the game. Okay, here we
The
go.
guy who wants to feast on your innards.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, the king only gave us 50 gold, so we can't have
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yes.
We're doing what we can with 50 gold.
A preemptive against 3 metal babbles. See
Yeah.
how this goes.
So if he gets
Oh.
a crit and then an instant kill. Oh,
and
look
then,
at that.
and then
two
tries
dead.
to run away and fails. We get 26,800 experience.
So this,
Sit back and relax.
Yes.
yeah, this literally takes 8.5 minutes. So if you probably got any donations, you're welcome to go ahead
This
and
is your
read them.
chance.
Yeah, I've got a few donations for you. Alrighty, we have $50 from Burnnap. I wanted to donate to this wonderful cause. Put my money towards Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Fight Sephiroth at level 1. $10 from Empty Eye. Journeys are boring. Adventures are where it's at. And then we begin the Jeff donations. Starting with $100 from Dojo KM. Mothers understand these things. Eat some Jeff and scoot up to bed. $5 from RPD234. Really liking this Jeff Warrior 3 run. Gosh, that Mimic plushly is too cute, even if it is tongueless.
No, it's a tissue box. So you put the tissues into it and you pull the tissues out, so it's a tongue.
Oh, that is adorable.
Tongue problem solved.
Yep, tongue problem solved.
We got $10 from That Crit Luck. Oh boy, I've been waiting for Jeff Quest 3 for a while. I remember being a young Jeff and going home to play this on the Jeff Tendo every day. If you've never played, it's an epic quest of Jeff and his 4 Jeff companions as they travel the world to save all the Jeffs from evil Jeff. We have $5 from Reflections. As a soon-to-be psychologist, I have to support what you're doing here, which is absolutely demolishing games and stigma. To Runner's Choice we go. Have we already established your choice?
Has the console cam for Dragon Quest V been met?
Console cam for Dragon Quest V.
If not, let's put it toward that.
It has not.
All right.
But that will be met pretty soon, so we might need to get another one for
Okay,
you.
well, let me know.
Okay. We have $5 from Eternal Ashes. High Spirits, watch out, you have a Mimic eating your hand. Donation goes to High Spirits' choice. Is there anything you're looking for?
Kill the Papas. Kill the Papas.
Kill the Papas?
Yeah, Dragon Quest V.
Alrighty.
He gets saved too much. Oh, I should.
Oh, so the donation goes to Don't Save the Papas. Okay.
Yeah, don't save him.
And then we have $25 from Grimoires. We're still leveling up.
We're only on the second
We're not,
character.
yeah,
by
we're
the
not
way.
even halfway done yet.
Yeah, we're only on the
gotcha.
second character.
$25 from Grimoire says, favorite in the series. Though, let's be honest, the best team is all goof-offs. Good luck on the run. Donation to Runner's Choice.
That's actually
Okay.
possible with this glitch. He could actually glitch the hero into a goof off
could
and
do
have
that,
4
yes.
goof offs.
Jeff is not a goof off.
I think if we were going to
Now
do goof
Jeff.
offs, it would have to not be Jeff. Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff deserves better, as does Jeff.
Oh, keep going. I mean, you can.
Yeah, I mean, we
just-
still have about
yeah,
5
just-
minutes here.
yeah,
4 or
just-
5 minutes.
You can
so.
watch the levels rise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be like 17 or 18.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
What
all
level are we
4 of
going up
them.
to?
We're going to end up at 17, 18, 18, and 18.
Yeah.
The wizard goes slightly faster than the others, but it's still about 2 minutes a character. So, yeah, we got plenty of time. You can read all the donations.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are no more. Let me see.
Well,
Aw.
oh, come
Uh-oh.
on,
That was all of
viewers,
them.
let's fix that.
Yeah. The mimic
It's up
demands
to you guys to fill
more
this dead
donations.
space.
Yeah.
We're not dead. but-
Well, not-
Massive.
maybe go through the incentives for the Tonic's Dragon Warrior Monsters run too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Tonic is
That's
running
coming up
Dragon
not-
Monsters here in a little bit.
Yeah, not too long from now, I hope.
I know that it's quite a number of bid wars for
It
it.
does. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, this might be an hour and 20 estimate, but because we're dealing with severe RNG, you know, there's a chance that it could actually be, yeah.
Yeah, this is, you know, if things go well, I'm hoping for an hour or so, but there's still plenty of room for things to go wrong. So, yeah.
I remember I played this game actually on my phone for the first time about a year ago, and this just completely.
Yeah.
So for Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, this is the run coming up, being run by Tonic. We have donation incentives to run either Terra's Adventure or Kobe's Adventure. Both of them are within $5 of each other. Either way at this point. Plenty of donations so far for naming the hero. So far we have Taiho, as seems to be the trend in a lot of these donations. I don't know where that comes from yet.
Suikoden
From
reference.
Suikoden.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and I believe your donation incentive you mentioned was fulfilled.
Oh.
So we need another
nice.
runner's choice from you.
All right. How about Final Fantasy 12 Devil Wall? The first, I forget, it's a Devil Wall, Demon Wall.
Yeah, that one still has just under $500 to go.
All right,
so
let's go for that one.
That'll work.
So, so maybe just mention a little more about what happened when all of a sudden we have all of the endgame stuff. So yes, as my wonderful couch was mentioning, I was using the music to glitch the memory. It's kind of abusing the swamp damage effect, and there are effectively two lists of items, and I can turn any item to any other. And there are also, without getting too technical, the spells and also the list of places where you can go with the return spell or Wing of the Wyvern. Those can also be glitched in the same way, and I can give myself effectively a big set of 7 or 8 things at once with a single glitch step. And I worked out the timing for those as part of developing the task, that tool-assisted speedrun that Pux was talking about a bit earlier, and then worked out a way that those could all be done in real time. And the reason this run works at all in real time is because of outside of this glitching, most input runs on just a 16 frame cycle. The game only checks for movement every 16 frames a second. And with enough practice, you can learn those movements, and you don't have to worry about trying to do frame perfect inputs all over the place. And that just lets the RNG control work throughout the rest of the run.
And we're almost done.
And I've got a few more donations. My request.
Go for it.
Mimic is happy.
Yes.
We have $7.20 from Anonymous. It says, put this toward Couch's choice or to High Spirits finishing the marathon by himself. Whichever is preferable.
Preferably, I was going to say
Go
the
for it, High
couch.
Spirits.
I was going to say the couch. Thank you very much.
P.S. Love watching RPG speedruns. We have $50 from some. Says, greetings, friends. Last year's Limit Break event got me into a great time playing with the Dragon Quest RTA community. Best of luck to vaxherd, Clear Tonic, and I'm sorry, Hoishin?
Yep.
Okay, I pronounced that right.
Thank you,
correctly.
Sumdi.
As well as the rest of the runners. Your pal Sumdiener.
Yep.
$5
Thank
from
you.
Anonymous. I don't know if I'm going to read this whole one. Here's a donation message to keep you busy. Here's a donation message to keep you busy for 8 minutes. Here's a donation message to keep you busy for 8 minutes. Here's a donation message to keep you busy for 8 minutes. And
All
so
right.
on and so
All
forth.
right.
Much appreciated.
Last
Yes.
level.
Yes,
Last level.
Yes, and
And last donation.
go for it.
$4 from Anonymous. Level up hype. Also, Puexel refuses to let us give him money, so this donation is in his honor.
Thank you.
So yes, thank you all for your donations. They're
Oh,
very
yeah.
much appreciated.
I notice how his menu is green too. That's just because even though his characters were all at max HP, he gained so much from that leveling that he's
Yeah.
in critical now, and needs to stay at the end in order to actually.
So he's still going to be going
Get
to
it,
fight the end
thing.
of the game at level 18, which is pretty terrifying.
That's still really, really low for this version of the game.
Yeah, I think usually you're intended to be high 20s, around 30.
Yeah, at least 30, I would say.
Yeah. All right, so those levels were obviously necessary because we are going to be fighting the endgame monsters and the endgame boss, but hopefully we won't be seeing random encounters along the way, and that's what the reset is for,
Yeah,
among other things. But
He's loading up the RNG from the second save file, which is pretty much, since he knows what's going to happen because of the discard, along with the seed lock from the second save file, as long as everything goes right, he should have a good idea of what's about to happen. Plus, he has every item he needs to finish the game, so.
Yeah, and just like earlier when he was manipulating encounters, he's stopping periodically and casting the heal spell in order to advance the RNG while he's standing still, and then skip an encounter he'd otherwise be getting on the next step. And also, this is a lot less sensitive than his earlier manipulation too, because he's in Alfgard, the Dark World, and that does not have the ghost ship in it at all. So that element that passively advances RNG isn't here.
I still can't take. Well, I have a few extra steps routed in case I make a mistake. I can't take too many of those, but if I run into the wall or if my thumb slips off the D-pad or something, there I'm fine.
And
I will try not to do that though.
And just a quick clarification, he skipped about 85 to 90% of the game.
Yeah. I mean, because we are now in Zoma's castle, which is the final dungeon.
Yeah, I heard there's a story to this game, and something about Zoma and yada yada yada, but that's not important right now.
Yeah, watch Tonic's run from last year if you want to actually see
what Baramos is?
Yeah.
I don't believe in Baramos.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
You did have a red orb there briefly, so.
Purple.
Or purple orb, yeah, purple orb. That kind of was important for Baramos.
Yeah, so through this door is 3 forced battles with Granite Titans that he's doing some setup for by casting the heal and also using his Wizard Ring, and which he does is important just because the Wizard Ring does 2 different things.
4.
It heals you.
5. Yeah.
Yep.
Counting to 5 is hard.
Yeah, it recovers MP, but also does a check on if it breaks or not. I mean, he knows it's not going to break because he's manipulating it, but the game checking for that changes the RNG.
I actually don't think it can break because of the seed lock.
It can break if I use it at the wrong time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like encounters. If it's less than, I think, 25, then it breaks, but I just don't use it when it's less than 25.
Yeah. So yeah, there's
Pay attention to this text here, too, coming up.
Just going to go on a journey because it's a nice castle.
Now we're going to have to defeat some Granite Titans now.
Uh-oh. You think we should defeat the Granite Titans with defeats?
No.
There we go.
See ya.
Well,
What are you talking
they
about?
asked-
They got 2 feet.
Yeah.
Look at that statue on the right, too.
I know.
Yeah, well, I mean, they asked us to defeat them, so
Yeah.
might as well make them happy.
Defeat is an instant death ability on all enemy groups, I should say. And well, they're one enemy group, so hey, look, a level for half.
So all of this routing is very fascinating, but it's the effort of vaxherd and the people before him to basically put stuff together
And
to be able to just walk into a battle and hit defeat and make it
Yeah.
work.
And if I could draw attention real quick, if you noticed his level, you notice how he got what we call the empty eye level, where they were all 1s. Because of the seed lock he's using right now, all of his stat games are minimal when he leveled up in that fight. And goodbye.
Easy.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, you got a 2. The minimum MP for that level was 2. Ooh, 4. Look at that.
HP and MP are actually rolled differently, so
they
they
are?
can get, they can be pretty much anything that's normally possible. It's the other stats, the base stats that,
Okay.
And you'll see it coming up in the final boss rush, but the specific HP on all characters is very, very important. So we're basically at the bare minimum that we need.
Gosh, a stairway.
Now this room coming up is actually much more frustrating than you think. Those tiles change your walking, and you basically rotates your D-pad. So up is now the direction of white, and down is the direction of the dark. So that's why he's kind
Just flawless. That was so good. actually, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
He just held up the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, he just held up is all he did.
Giving away my secrets, are you? So it is actually possible to take a more direct route through that floor, but if you do, you have to do 2 more heals in this encounter script that's coming up, and you don't end up actually saving any time. So, not worth it.
Man, I spent all that time telling about how difficult that room was and everything, and all you say is you just held up.
Blew it.
Speedrunning secrets exposed.
Do we have a moment for some more donations?
Yeah, probably squeeze in 1, maybe 2.
Okay. $25 from Anonymous. Thank you very much. Another $25 from Darkest Phoenix. Just says, I love leveling.
Great.
We all do.
$51 from Anonymous. 8.5 minutes of leveling is 510 seconds. So have a dime for each second of.
Why, thank you.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh man, there's a fierce fight coming up here soon. This is like serious time coming up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's serious for someone at least.
Yeah. He didn't say who it was serious for.
So
Who's
yeah,
that?
Who's
Who's
this
that?
guy?
He's fighting a monster alone. We should help. Well, why aren't you helping?
Well, isn't RNG manipulation help? I manipulated the RNG to get him out of the fight as soon as we could.
Yeah. So this fight actually is manipulated, believe it or not. Ortega has the ability to cast heal, and well, we just made sure that
that should not have happened.
Uh-oh. Was that from a bonk that you had earlier?
Okay, so that's the reason that I estimated 1 hour 20.
Uh-oh. So he was not supposed to cast heal. Let me rephrase that.
We're not doing the level ups again. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But
Wait, now you're going to have to fix the discard
Yep.
now.
I can do that. That's why I have these tables.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
So
you think you miscounted a wizard ring or something?
I'm not sure, actually.
I
I'll
saw
have to go
one
back to check.
pause in that walk.
Yeah, the pauses don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that whole discard, he needs to now go through and fight an encounter in order to, using his notes, exclamation point. And he's going to use this to set up the discard back to the number that he wants it to be, so he can go again back to manipulating everything.
Yep.
But yeah.
Oh, no, wrong one. So, if you noticed, I selected female for the gender of this character. Take a look at the dialogue here.
I raised you as a brave young lad.
Yes. And you may notice similar things when we go and talk to the king. What we're going to be doing here is basically the same thing we did earlier with the doctor file. Just going to run out of town, fight a battle, and adjust the discard value.
So it's probably a good time if you have any other donations.
That I do. I have $15 from Shadow Killer 4826. Says, hey all, really missing being there in person this year, but good luck to vaxherd and all the runners. Pick where to put this.
Ooh.
What do you got for me? Hit me.
do we have anything during the Saga block? Saga Frontier, Legends.
We do have a character choice for Saga Frontier, 80%, Amelia or Celis.
Put it towards the Celis.
All right. We have $13.37 from Duango AC. Says, I have a message from Taskbot for vaxherd. You are good at this game. You are wearing a very nice shirt. I think I like you.
Well, at least one of those is true. Possibly not all.
$50 from Anti-Arctic. Loving the Dragon Quest block so far. Keep it up.
Oh, I'm sure that came in before this little disaster. But,
I'm sure they still love it. $25 from the Countess.
Of course.
Should probably donate during DQ block. I heard Tonic got killed yesterday by a Yeti. So here's more money toward the Yeti.
Thanks,
Clear
man.
facial.
Thank you.
100. Casus B?
Cassis.
Kazas B. Okay, got them all wrong. Dataface.
Excellent.
And $5.02 from Countdown66 says, "Hello, RPG friends. Your boy Alex SRL here. I love me some Dragon Quest speedruns. Great run, vaxherd, and best of luck to the rest of the DQ crew, TM. Thanks, Boexel and Co. for another great marathon, and shoutouts to the legendary DNGR.
Oh, yeah.
PS DQ5 SFC chart coming soon."
What's up, Countdown?
He's going to do one more round here, so hang with me just a moment, and
Yeah.
then we'll get back to the in-game segment again.
Yeah, this one required a couple of fights in order to get the discard to where he needed it.
Yeah, if you missed the start of the run, he's using a separate file here in order to set some set some RNG values that get preserved through resetting and reloading the game. So he's basically just setting up his next attempt to beat Zoma in his speedrun file.
I love how the kings all have green, like, giant mustaches. They all look the same. They're green with giant green mustaches.
Yes. And of course, Bang 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 receives money for his party.
50 gold!
Yeah. There is exactly one location in the game where if you set your hero as female, the game uses her instead of his. Other than that, they are all unchanged, and the sprite is unchanged. You get the idea that maybe there were some things they didn't really test too hard when they developed this.
Where is that place?
It is actually the dialogue right after.
Wow.
Yes,
Really go
where
the
it says
distance
her
for the
father instead
benefit.
of his father.
Yeah.
Poor Hef. No love.
All right, we are good.
Okay, so he's set up again now. He can go ahead and make that walk from Rumildar again. To try to deal with Zoma. A very heal-intensive fight.
So we'll see.
Yes, it is indeed. Have I walked yet? There we go. Actually, I may have walked too far. I said there's a bit of leeway, but not that much. So we'll try that once more. Did you guys happen to notice, did I remember to take the 4 steps before going down to the Ortega floor? Because that might have been it.
No, you probably didn't burn the
Okay,
first
that must be what it was then. Yep. Well,
Because
now
you
we
were
know.
good all the way up until that floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, the last part that would have been a mistake is...
Check out those two
Oh, no,
Sword of Kings.
sorry,
Just,
it's,
Yeah, I know.
just chilling.
Dual wield them.
Wish you could.
Should give one to Ortega. Maybe we'll win that fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, funny thing about that is Ortega is not supposed to win that fight, sadly. That's why we don't want him to heal.
Mhm.
But there actually is something the designers programmed into the game just in case he could win of a dying message.
Yep.
But it was Vax has tested it and found out that out of 26 million
268 million and change.
268 million possibilities,
No big
there is
deal.
0 chance
Mhm.
that Ortega can win that fight.
Yep. I simulated all of them, and every single one Ortega loses. Poor guy.
I mean, it is possible to see the outcome if you hack the game, though. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen YouTube videos where they give King Hydra 1 hit point or something like that. So
Yeah.
and then Ortega wins. It's like, but alas, the brave hero ran out of power and died, or something like
Mhm.
that.
Something like that.
And the reason why that is because some enemies, bosses in this game, a lot of them, regeneration mechanic. And the King Hydra actually regenerates 100 health every turn.
Yeah, it's kind of a common thing in NES RPGs to get around memory limitations.
Heal all.
So yeah, it's to simulate the bosses having more hit points than the game can really track. It just makes them quietly regenerate a certain amount of health each turn.
Yep. And since the most Ortega can do in any hit is, I believe, like 112 or 120, but he doesn't always hit that every turn. For the most part, Hydra is regenerating pretty much all the damage that he's taking.
Five, yep.
So again, what all he's doing here is setting up the RNG so that he kills all the Granite Titans with his defeat spell.
You mean defeats all of the Titans? Apparently they're not good at dancing. Mimic agrees. He is not good at dancing. Because he doesn't have defeat to do it.
He has Kathwag.
So what he does in combat doesn't matter as long as he chooses the right right commands. Like he can stop and dance if he wants to or whatever, but it's bit, you know, because the RNG is not really rolling while he's just standing there.
Though if he makes basically any mistakes at all with his combat inputs, it's over.
And this game has a tendency to give you double inputs if you press a same button twice too fast. You'll notice he hasn't done it, but I've done it a lot of times where, like, if you open a menu and like try to go down to an item, you press the down button twice and very fast, and next thing you know, it skips all the way to equip and just like skips over an item in the menu. Jeff levels up.
So yeah, actually, I'm going to be particularly careful with that because I need to move the wizard ring around a bit during the final boss rush, and I want to be very careful I don't accidentally go down. The menu is use, transfer, discard. I want to be careful I don't accidentally go down to discard because there is no confirmation when you throw an item away.
Yeah. If you could throw an item away in this game, oops, it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, he needs to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes because at level 18 and 19, he's not going to survive Zoma in pretty much any fashion if he doesn't have this set up perfectly.
Check out this raw skill
I know.
right here.
It's kind of funny how they do that. You just hold up and it lets you. It's like it's supposed to scare you or something.
I believe there is a faster method to get through this too, although it's faster by like half a second and much more difficult.
Yeah, if you take the shortest possible route, you save 28 steps, but then you have to do 2 extra heals down here at the bottom when you're skipping the encounter, and so it's a wash basically.
There is another tower in the game that introduces those tiles. In L. It's probably somewhere north of where he is now.
And this time I will not forget to burn the extra steps. I hope.
Yeah. So the wizard ring recovers MP, as we said earlier, and it can break. I believe it's a 10% chance every time you use it that it can break, if you're just normally playing. So hopefully Ortega puts up a good fight again.
For various definitions of good.
Yeah. It depends how what your point of view is. Speedrun good is what we're looking for.
All right, round 2.
Oh no, a hero is fighting a monster alone. I guess it doesn't have the same impact the second time, huh?
Yeah.
See, Ortega's doing max damage every hit. I'm sure he can take out the King Hydra. Of course, the King Hydra's doing max damage every hit too, but... Sad music.
Poor Ortega.
Well, you're the one that wanted to not save the Pappas, so...
I know. So, story reasons, Ortega's kind of important, yada yada yada. Spoilers, and continue on to Zoma.
Nope.
Nope. What are you doing, dude? You know what's in there?
I do.
Nobody
I
say
don't-
anything.
Yeah.
I know perfectly well what's in there.
There's no spoilers playthrough.
Yeah. We're just going to show you the beginning and the end. Everything else in the
Yeah.
middle, you got to play to see yourself. Or watch Tonic's run from last year.
Alright, so we are in the bottom floor.
The
Yep.
altar.
thine altar of offering.
Indeed.
Boss rush time. This guy's evil. Probably could have guessed. Yeah. He's no Baramos, but... So the first fight is King Hydra. You know, poor Ortega, time to get revenge.
So, I mean, this is all manipulated, but we are also going to be seeing a fairly well-known glitch called the parry glitch. If you select parry, that I believe just doubles your defense.
It halves damage.
Or halves damage you take on the next turn. But if you parry for any character that's not in the 4th slot and then cancel the next character's action, the game does not remove the parry status. And the reason it doesn't work on the 4th character is because once you set their action, the combat round starts.
You notice how he set up a revive spell there because, oops, Jeff died.
He just knew. He just knew Jeff was going down.
So yeah, this is, you know, as you can see, without like being able to manipulate this fight, how much damage King Hydra is dishing out. This is definitely not the level you want to be to survive these attacks.
These endgame fights, too, are why his character's starting agility was so important, too, just because he needs his characters to follow a very a fixed turn order for this manipulation route to work.
So that's the first one.
3 to go.
The next couple fights have a little bit more meaning if you saw a Baramos fight earlier. Otherwise, they just look like a couple of random enemies.
Or if you just know how nasty these guys are in normal playthrough.
I think some say when you're playing the game normally, Baramos is probably a lot harder than anything else.
Definitely.
But yeah, but mostly because of that treasure room he skipped upstairs too.
Exactly.
That has the Sage's Stone in it.
No spoilers there. No.
We
So
do
this-
have healing items that we are going to
Yeah.
use.
So this is Baramos Bamos. Like bonus Baramos.
Yeah, yes.
With the jazz hands.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, explode it. But he only went. I believe he can get up to 3 attacks in a round.
In this version, you can only get
Oh,
up
yeah.
to 2.
This version's 2, okay.
He's the I mean, he's still the nastiest of the 3 mini bosses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Especially if you like double explode it every turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there he's gone. More levels. All of the Jeff's level. Poor
Yep.
Hef. If he would have still been Jeff, he would have leveled.
So sorry, Hef.
That is just such a perfect glitch to
I
have
know.
happen in this run, though. Jeff became Hef.
Yeah, I've seen him glitch the second character's name before. I don't think I've ever seen you glitch the first character.
Has never happened before.
There you go. Marathon luck.
Hey.
So we had bonus Baramos. Now we have, well, Baramos is almost gonus. This fight, all he has is really strong physical attacks.
Which are not going to hit him because he's surrounded.
Exactly.
Which if you're not familiar with Dragon Quest, that's like darkness status in Final Fantasy. It lowers your accuracy dramatically, and because of the manipulation now, Baramos Gonus isn't going to hit him at all.
And soon he will be gone from us forever.
The real Baramos still out there.
Yeah.
These two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These cheap clones. Cheap knockoffs.
All right, one more fight.
Yep.
And I should just mention these hit points are actually important. They're not just wasted.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to survive this fight with like a couple health left for someone.
And again, he's all these heals and wizard ring usage. I mean, I guess he does actually need the hit points and magic points, but it's also just to set up the RNG manipulation for the fight.
So when you go into this fight,
I love this music.
I know it's good music.
Also, we should give an epilepsy warning, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I use the Sphere of Light in a moment, the screen is going to go moderately crazy.
Yeah. So the Sphere of Light is supposed to weaken him. It also gives him some amazing Technicolor. Ooh, yeah.
We're
Perfect.
good. We're good.
We're good. Everything is fine. Nothing to see here.
More jazz hands. Too.
Yeah, more jazz.
Oh, yeah.
Colorful jazz hands.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. He used
Yeah.
an herb. Ooh, he's healing the boss to death. Wait a second.
Oh, and also we do not stop time until loss of control, so we'll be
Yep.
in a few minutes.
Yeah. We have some more fun stuff coming too.
Oh, yeah.
Before the run ends.
Wave of ice.
All becoming freezing rays.
Double wave. How convenient.
I know. Wave of ice just removes buffs and debuffs.
See you later,
And
Zoma.
goodbye, Zoma.
All right.
So funny thing about that fight, so a
You're
lot.
not supposed to heal him. Just
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
actually, that is
Yeah.
not entirely true.
Yeah, you are in fact. So that is part of the game's design, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
series creator
Yep.
Yuji Horii actually said that in a Japanese magazine interview, that because he's like the embodiment of anti-life or things of that nature, that healing spells will in fact damage him. However, herbs are not supposed to do that much damage.
Site.
Yeah.
Where it actually doesn't pull a healing range from the herb, so it pulls a much higher healing range, and that's why herbs are so effective. And then with the seed lock that he has, it did max damage.
I mean, Zoma is meant to be a much longer fight
Yeah.
because of his HP regen, but he was just doing so much damage each turn that it was just it didn't matter.
He has 1,000 health with a 100 regen every turn. So usually you do a couple hundred to him every turn. He regenerates half, and he beats your party up a little bit. So now for the
normally he
escape,
doesn't do freezing waves twice around too.
only after you put all your buffs up does he.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
When you have everyone's attack power doubled, then he uses freezing wave as many times as he can to get rid of it. Oh no, a bonk.
Oh no.
I think
Oh, a step.
fake
Oh, no.
Reset.
So it's not until shortly after he talks to the king that his
Yeah.
time.
And I will let you know when that is.
But you know.
Something closing. Back home anymore. Oh well, I guess we won't worry about Baramos.
Yeah, Baramos is trapped in the other world. We don't need him.
this is the alternate future side or sequel. DQ3 will be Baramos too.
You know who's gonna beat Baramos though? Those 6 trumpet players.
Oh
yeah.
yes. Oh
in
yeah.
the
mad.
hand, yeah.
They knew.
Yes.
Will
You know-
you be
Okay, so
using-
have time to
It's-
play around a little bit.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
for it.
Staff change we picked up a little while ago. You're not supposed to have that at the end of the game.
Oops. What do you got? It looks like sheep people.
Yeah, because ordinarily you have to actually trade this for the item needed to get onto that
ooh,
ghost
Narud!
ship we talked about.
Air Kicks is happy right now as you turned into Narud.
Fair.
Sorry, I had to say that.
We're going for one specific sprite.
Old man.
I've seen the whole game right here.
Yeah.
Elena? I don't know.
It's probably Isis from the desert
Yeah.
in
Bard.
some other universe.
There you go.
There we
Slimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so time will be coming up in just a moment.
Heffin is slime buddies.
Oh, that lag. Wow.
That lag,
That's
yeah.
not supposed to have all those sprites in that room.
Yeah.
Okay, get ready on time. And time.
Nice. Dragon Quest beaten in 1 hour. Some chanting in the other room.
Clearly for this. I just want to point out that that is a very, very technical run. He did
Yeah.
a fantastic job navigating that game because it's what all the preparation that he did to be able to prepare for all those situations was a lot more than the surface of what you saw. So
And you notice how there's still slimes in the,
Yeah,
in the
look at that.
cutscenes?
And they're very happy slimes.
Yes.
This was actually discovered recently, wasn't it?
Oh no, it's been around for a while. I discovered
Oh,
it
you
recently,
discovered it
but yeah,
recently.
the Japanese community has known about this and probably everything else in this run for a long time. Yeah,
But yeah, he has spent I don't know how many countless months working on this, if not longer.
yeah, it was a couple months of good solid work, good solid math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a full week on that final boss rush alone, just basically working. What I did was I worked back from the last battle, and I said, I know I want to beat him with herbs in the last round. Okay, so what do I need to do in the previous round, the round before that?
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of back and forth. But I enjoy math, so
And you are a legend. You are born.
yes.
And then the plot twist at the end, of course.
Oh, so now we know also where all of the friendly slimes in the later games come from.
Yeah.
Yes. They're descendants of Hef.
And Jeff. And Jeff. And Jeff.
So, yeah. Should we let this run?
For past all this slimy goodness, let's go ahead
Yeah.
and move on.
All right. Then I guess that's Dragon Warrior 3. Thanks to my couch. Great commentary. Helped me out. Shout outs to Eric Hicks, who's also done a lot of work on the non-glitched run, I should say. Shout outs to Dave DFWM on TAS Videos, who made the original TAS using the glitch at Luisa's place to get 4 dead party members. And yeah, well, thank you.
Well done, man.
Alrighty, once again, thank you very much, vaxherd, for that Dragon Warrior 3 run. That was absolutely excellent. Can't imagine the preparation and the work that went into that, making that being able to happen live. That was awesome.